Before we begin, Todd, I just wanted to give you a little special sauce that you could use or not use, but here we go. Welcome back. You're listening to another episode of The Todd Donald Show, a weekly podcast where artists and performers go to chat about nothing, hosted by Canadian singer-songwriter Todd Donald.
Welcome to The Todd Donald Show. He's the host, Todd Donald. You can follow him on social media if you like. It's at Todd Donald Show on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, same handle. And you can email him at todddonald@gmail.com.
And I am honored to be a part.
And I'm here too.
So you can use that if you'd like.
Okay, so that copy read that my sweet guest very sweetly did was, of course, based on episodes 1 through 100 of this podcast. A very clever misdirect on my part to bring the podcast back and wildly change it. The best change, of course, is the addition of my co-host, singer-songwriter Katie Topham, who isn't with me today, but will be back soon. We have some Super Bowl Rihanna stuff to get to. We want to get to it before it becomes super old news. Right now, it's just old news. And, we have some notes. But I am thrilled to be joined on this episode by three hilarious and fantastic creatives and performers talking about the co-creators of NPRmageddon, Peter Podgursky and Bryan Keithley, and the gentleman who plays President Skullgore, LeJon Stewart. They joined me from sunny California recently to chat about their episodic scripted podcast, which I've been listening to consistently, consuming voraciously. It's an audio drama, a black comedy set in a post-apocalyptic Earth as we know it setting called Los Angeles, featuring the voice talents of Tay Zonde, Fred Willard, and about 70 to 80 some odd more that they'll clarify themselves in the content of this podcast, throughout which I'll be playing podcast and episode trailers from NPRmageddon to get you stoked, to get you downloading it and listening to it immediately. Now let's start the show off with a song. Anyone who knows and loves Twin Peaks like I do will recognize this tune by the Chromatics. Having a Twin Peaks rewatch renaissance, and I'm tempted to start the next one like immediately after. I'm really feeling it, The song, Shadow, is essentially the Twin Peaks theme progression by Angela Badalamenti with a blend of 80s and modern analog synths and dreamy, brand new dream pop vocals. Once again, the song is by the Chromatics, and the title is Shadow.
NPRmageddon, the show where one post-apocalyptic radio station serves up piping hot propaganda straight into your ear holes. If no news is good news, we have some bad news for you. Starring Fred Willard.
How cool is that?
John Delancey.
This is a protein opportunity that is rarely seen on this side of the 405.
Jello Biafra.
All you need is a thirst for adventure.
Tay Zonde.
Do you really want to go out like a namby-pamby, thumb-sucking, whittle-bitty crybaby?
Andrew Bowser.
It looked like the end, but a funny thing happened on the way to world domination.
Erica Ishii.
Nothing brightens your day quite like hard drugs.
Harlan Ellison.
This is outrageous!
And many more. It's weird, it's sci-fi, it's horror, it's comedy, and it always comes with a body count. But hey, who's counting?
An Earmouse limited audio series. Available everywhere podcasts are available.
And now, introducing my co-hosts for this episode, NPRmageddon's co-creators Bryan Keithley and Peter Podgursky, and star LeJon, President Skullgore Stewart. Yeah, not only do I have the creators of the show and a Channel 101 legend, I also have three of the stars in front of me, on a screen.
Yeah, it's been an interesting process to write it and also serve as the host for it. It's been a whole lot of fun. I mean, I think fun has characterized the entire run of the show. I mean, it's been long gestating, and we've been doing this for a couple years now, on weekends when we could, and gosh, it's just been so much fun to record so many actors. And I mean, I've learned and grown as a voice actor for sure throughout the course of the show. So I don't know, it's just been so fun to be able to perform your own material, I guess, in summation.
Have you gotten a lot of feedback so far?
What do you think? I mean, the feedback so far has been quite positive. I don't think anyone has. We've received no death threats about the show, so that's positive.
But you think, if you reach a certain level, death threats will come. So death threats are sort of a signal of success.
Maybe that's the good problem to have.
Yeah, so we have had no death threats, but look forward to them because death threats mean
qualified look forward.
Well, I think like if you have a death threat, you have to reach a certain threshold because no one's going to threaten your death if you're just not all that important. If you're nobody, who wants to kill you?
Yeah.
Right, like if you're not death threat famous.
I mean, are you even famous?
What I love about I'll just say real quick, what I love about this is that the character that these two geniuses wrote for me, and they were so good when we were recording because it's like, okay, I want more, I want this. I mean, they would really be hands-on with me getting that President Skullgore out. And when I listen to it now, I'm like, wow, I'm really impressed and I love it. And these guys are geniuses.
You're too kind.
Yeah, you're fantastic in it, and it is very cinematic, even though like I want you guys to describe what the content of it is. I just think it's fantastic. God, I'm sorry. I'm first of all very excited to see you guys. I'm also like, I don't know where to begin because I'm such a big fan of it.
Well, have you listened? So you listened to the first two episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I think
if I've heard the third, like who gave it to me, right?
Yeah.
We probably should start with introducing who we really are.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Why don't you start us off?
And describe your voice in a sentence.
Ooh, my goodness. Honeyed. No, that's too immodest. So my name is Bryan Keithley, and I play the part of Brian Garcia McMillan Keithley in the show, and also the writer co-creator, along with my friend Peter. That's a great segue to introduce Peter.
Yeah, I am Peter Podgursky. I play a reporter in the future called Peter Podgursky. I would describe my voice. I think it sounds like a teenager. I think it's a young sounding voice. If I had to describe it, I used to have to answer the phones. I used to work for J.J. Abrams, and I used to have to answer the phones. And I'd always and you'd answer the phone, and you go like, "Hello, Bad Robot," and you'd try to smile when you said it, and people would always mistake me for a woman. So I think I think I might have either a childlike or womanly voice.
It's the sweetness and the love in your voice that they hear.
What do you think, Todd? Do you think I have a girl's voice?
No, you definitely have it's just
Like
my
definitely
opinion,
a
right?
masculine voice is a definitely?
But a youthful, very youthful.
Very youthful.
There you go.
Yeah. You could do the, Dad, I want to go out and drive the car. I'm 16 already. Gosh.
And they would believe it.
Yeah.
And
LeJon, I'm going to introduce you to LeJon. He is a man who only goes by one name, and that name is LeJon.
There you go. So I am honored again to be here and to share with you and your fans. It's interesting because I didn't even know what a podcast was when Peter first started to talk about this. So that's what lets me know. I was born in the 50s. And so, podcasts and things are like, and so he said, "Hey, we're writing this great stuff, and we want you to be President Skullgore of Lost, L-O-S-T, Angeles." And I was like, okay. Didn't know what I was really doing. Didn't know that we would be here at this moment right now, meeting you and cheering with your people, with your audience. But now it's all coming together. And I just love the way that they made me. I'm a maniac, kind of like a cross between Obama and Trump.
And how would you describe your voice, though?
Well, Obama and Trump.
Oh, okay.
It's like, you get, we're all wrapped into one.
party in the back and business in the front.
There you go. Maybe a little bit of Bill Clinton, too,
Sure.
Yeah.
I think of you as more like because this is a Canadian content podcast. I think you are more of the Justin Trudeau of our podcast.
Now you blow me away because I've always admired President Trudeau.
I really admire like the cold Canadian fist gripped around Canada that Trudeau just wields. I really like that. I admire him. And do you think he is? Think he could be Castro's son? Have you heard that conspiracy theory that Justin Trudeau is secretly a Castro?
No, but I do find it interesting. Just having heard about it, I think
if you Google image Justin Trudeau and Fidel Castro, you will see these like split images. I saw it on Twitter. I thought it was hilarious, and they do feature each other. So that's that.
And image.
So that's your Canadian content.
Might be a season 2 Canadian crossover or something. Yeah, I mean, do you feel like now looking back at the Skullgore that was created, as Americans, I think that's what we would have. I think that would happen. I think Skullgore would happen.
Oh, yeah. Look, you turn on the news every day, and what kind of crazy ass shit do you see? People like President Skullgore running the country. And so we keep going. But then again, why not? I mean, we legalize pot.
Up here too, eh?
Yes, exactly. It's amazing. I have a lot of friends that I know from Canada because I started a group called Grass. It's another show, but a lot of Canadians are part of our group, so it's cool.
Another piece of Canadian content. Isn't it odd that you like poutine is a big popular native Canadian dish, right? And you would think that people smoking pot would come before the invention of poutine, but that's not how it happened. Poutine came first.
Wow.
Well, they must have been on something else.
And what's that? And what's the other Canadian thing that I know? What's the gas station that's everywhere that everyone loves? Do you know what I'm talking about? What's it called?
Is it iconic or?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It's not here? I don't know.
No. Yeah, there's a certain kind of gas station that people really like in Canada. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
So many of our gas stations could also be American, for all I know.
Yeah, but this one is just Canadian. It's like a beloved Canadian gas station.
I don't know. Are these things Canadian only? Like I've occasionally eaten at McDonald's. I get coffee from Starbucks. I watch 110% American movies and television. I don't follow sports, especially hockey. Yay.
What?
Oh, you don't follow the Maple
I-
Leafs. Okay.
Not especially. I don't follow
Wait, is
any
it Hortons?
sports.
Something Hortons? Is there?
Oh, we have Tim Hortons.
Tim
the
Hortons.
Coffee shop.
Oh, that's not a gas station though. That's like a restaurant, right?
Yeah, I would have nailed that right away if you said coffee chain.
Yeah. So that's the It wasn't a gas station, but they're. I've never been to one. I just know that I know poutine, Justin Trudeau, and that Hortons thing, and I know what Spud and Bud McKenzie. Do you remember those? Like that old
Bob and Doug.
Bob and
from
Doug
SCTV.
McKenzie. Yeah. I remember that.
Kick off.
And
Well, I know that Canada has a fine lineage of superstar comedians: Rick Moranis and John Candy,
William Shatner.
Martin Short. Oh, William Shatner, the great.
Oh, and also
Mike Myers, Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox is from Canada.
Michael J. Fox is from Canada.
Yeah, they were taking our jobs. They took our jobs.
Took our
I remember I
jobs.
was on a TV show. It was called Legit, and he's from Canada. Does that sound familiar? It was.
Oh wait.
Legit.
So Seth, whatever.
McFarlane?
Not McFarlane. Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His whole crew is from Canada.
Oh, he's got a crew, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Judd Apatow, all those.
Judd Apatow's from Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And and also the guy from Glee,
Let's just talk about everything that we know that's from Canada.
Yeah.
the guy from Glee,
The guy from
lead
Glee's from
star
Canada, too.
that died.
Okay.
Yeah,
Leah Michelle. No, she's still alive.
yeah. Leah Michelle's alive.
Leah Michelle, the guy from.
was he? No, Puck was Puck died too, but he had a.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mohawk,
that show
but-
was
Yeah,
really
face like a toaster.
very, very bleak. Like a lot of the people, a lot of darkness in that Glee show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of.
because the one girl's missing. She went on a raft boat and with her little baby.
Did one guy get
He overdosed.
Okay.
The one that I know, I kind of knew him.
I know the kid that played the kid in the wheelchair said he regretted playing a kid in a wheelchair.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. It's just, wow. Tragedy.
tragedy. I don't know if he's Canadian though. I do know what football was invented in Canada. I found that out on a Super Bowl commercial. And basketball, I believe, is also invented in Canada.
Not to get
Basketball,
football.
I didn't know about.
Not to football and rugby. I guess because the difference in football and rugby, but
I don't know about rugby.
but football came from rugby.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
So welcome to our rugby podcast. I'm Peter. I'm with
And
Bryan
I'm a
and
player.
LeJon, and we're going to tell you everything that could be from Canada.
Welcome to the Skin Your Knee podcast. Latest news and updates about rugby.
Did you skin your knee? Did you playing rugby?
But maybe did I tell you what I learned about Canadian women who work for TV shows and
Please tell us, what did you learn about Canadian women that
boy.
worked for
I feel
television
like we're
shows?
wading into.
and that's it. Not only just women in general, beautiful Canadian women.
Okay, great.
What did I learn about that? I was the casting director for The Weakest Link on NBC, and my job was to put the people in the audience for the shows. And they always demanded that there would be about 25 to 30 hot, beautiful women to just sit in the show and be there. And they would show up. The Canadian women, beautiful, professional, they would always come early or at least on time. The rest of the women that were beautiful, they could come 2 hours late and they knew we would still take them because I'm beautiful and I don't have to, I can do whatever I want to do because I'm gorgeous. And the Canadian women got the memo. I don't know if it's their parents, teach them that beauty is only skin deep. You got to make a living. You got to be on time. And that's what I love and admire about my Canadian beauties.
Tim Hortons coffee. They never know what gets them there on time.
Oh, square in the circle. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Hello.
But Canada, they sided with the British, right? There were a bunch of Tory royalists back in the day. We tried to invite them to come be part of our revolution. They're like, no. We want to maintain our ties to the UK.
They could have been the 14th colony.
They could have been part of us, but they rejected us.
But anyway,
Insert effective segue to NPRmageddon here.
Welcome to the Canadian Content History Channel. We're going to tell you all sorts of great things about Canada.
They got hot
Listen,
women
I do.
that come on time.
I do. It's time for another song. I'll link you to the YouTube video for it, which is awesome. This is the song used as the theme for NPRmageddon. It's by a band artist called Society Burning, and the song is called Nausea ad Nauseum.
Coming up on NPRmageddon, Los Angeles electoral politics is a total bloodbath.
I have the power!
Yeah! We check in with Betatech Incorporated about the company's latest labor-saving innovations.
New restraints, new troughs, new cages. It's just a beauty.
And we reminisce about the mythical food known as chocolate.
They were starving to death, so I decided to give them something to eat. Something they never forget.
Was it chocolate?
Hell no! I made them eat lead.
Plus fitness tips and traffic.
It's a total parking lot out there.
Featuring the voice talents of Fred Willard, John Delancey, Harlan Ellison, Betsy Baker, Natalie Wachen, Michael Rousselet, Tayzon Day, and many others.
All this and more in NPRmageddon Episode 1, Rise of Skullgore.
are you doing, Todd? Are you doing okay?
I'll just record some questions after and
retrofit it.
Yeah. Back it in.
I'll Frankenstein it.
Tell me everything you know about Tim Horton. We can restart this if you'd like. Whatever
this is so fun for me
to do. Like, we aim to please.
I just want to give my chest how much I love the show. It speaks to me. I am an audio entertainment nerd. I do make a lot of it. It's become my career through making stuff for 101. It also takes a special kind of people to be into stuff that's not either just to look at or, you know what I mean? Like it's a fine art to really carry across visuals without visual, you know? So, and I don't want to insinuate any influences, but there were things that came to my mind when I first started listening to it. And you could tell me where your influences were actually drawn. But I felt some Paul Verhoeven vibes, peak Verhoeven newscast vibes, like kind of Grand Theft Auto fake radio station vibes, National Lampoon Radio Hour, and Monty Python albums. These are things that I've always loved growing up. And NPRmageddon, I swear to fucking God, for me, is right up there with all that. So, heart to heart, guys. I'm going to start crying.
Oh, yay!
Where was NPRmageddon born?
And we want tears, so this is great.
First of all, thank you so much, Todd. Like, you know, as we're just starting out, like, you know, just people paying attention to us is huge. And I'm glad the show is resonating so strongly with you. And I'm going to agree with probably 100% of those influences that you just dropped down. But maybe we should talk about the genesis of the show.
Yeah, sure. So the genesis of the show, Jackson Lansing, who's a comic book writer and a filmmaker, I was talking to him once and he said, "Oh, you've got to listen to this thing called Night Vale. It's really, really good." And I'm like, okay, I'll listen to Night Vale. And so I listened to Night Vale. I was like, oh, this is really good. And I thought, I wonder if I could make a Night Vale that was more to my taste. I quite like Night Vale, but it wasn't mean enough. It was creepy, but it wasn't really mean.
Right.
Because like Night Vale, if you don't know, is this show, it's like this creepy show where like there's some radio station out in some small town. There's a guy named Cecil, and he's the host of the show, and creepy sort of Lovecraftian things happen. And I thought it was really, really good. And I have quite a decent sound background. I was like, I think I could do this and make it bigger, because the scope of Night Vale, I mean, they're cranking those episodes out. Like, so like the scope fits what they're doing perfectly, and I think they do 2 a month. They're writing those things like crazy, So it's like, okay, what if I can't compete on that way, but I could make it harder. I could make it more complicated. And I just like post-apocalyptic stuff. I go, if we did a post-apocalyptic radio station, it's different enough from Night Vale. And then I can sort of have the influences that I like Paul Verhoeven movies or Mad Max films, like any sort of canon era action science fiction.
And you hit it on the head with Paul Verhoeven. Like RoboCop is probably me and Peter's like top 3 films.
Yeah.
That is a gigantic, nice. That's a great film.
Yeah, when I Bryan and I met at USC Film School, and when you go to USC Film School, they give you a call and they ask you, tell me about a film that really meant something to you. I said RoboCop. And the person I was talking to on the other end of the line was like, RoboCop? And then I was like, went into my spiel about how like RoboCop is like the smartest movie.
You can go layers and layers.
Yeah, you can just,
RoboCop.
yeah.
I just want to interrupt 1 second. Because you sound so youthful, they weren't thinking like, I'm sorry, do you mean the 2014 not so classic one?
No, this was before that one came out. Yeah. So I often call Bryan, I've had many writing partners in my life, but Bryan's one of them. And I called Bryan and I was like, I'm thinking about, I described what Night Vale was. And I was like, I think we could do something like this, like sort of like a post-apocalyptic, like sort of public radio show kind of thing.
Right.
And then Bryan said,
"Oh, you mean something like NPRmageddon?"
And I was like, yeah. And so
I'm good at names.
I hated him. I was like, yeah. Because like I was like trying to describe what I'm trying to do. He goes, "Oh, you mean like NPRmageddon? Ha 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 ha." And I'm just like, yeah. and I hate you. I hate you so much for coming up with a really good name. People are impressed by the name, and I didn't come up with the name. Bryan came up with the name.
We'll get chuckles out of the name alone, which is a good place to be, and it was also unique enough to where we could grab the Instagram and the Twitter and all that like unimpeded, which is increasingly important in our digital era. So that was good.
Yeah, so that's how that came about.
And I think to add on to that, like, we grew up as filmmakers and we continue to be filmmakers and entertainment people, creative writers, and it's very hard to cobble together, say, like a feature film. You have to marshal an awful lot of resources just to get it to low budget level, right? Not to mention like, a blockbuster or very, very good looking feature film. But the same is not true in the audio space. I mean, I think one of the strengths that we're trying to press is that like we feature a cast of over 80 actors and we sound design the hell out of this, and we had it professionally mixed by one of our good friends at USC, Amy Reed. So we hope that it sounds big and professional and sort of grandiose, and it sounds like a working radio station that we can throw to a bunch of reporters and have crazy monsters show up, and it sounds big, and that's actually possible in the audio space with not too much resources. So I think that's, as far as like our pitch to other people to enter the space and to participate in the space, I think that's a big one. I think you can pull off a lot with a little in audio, because you sort of, without that other dimension, you're sort of free to imagine, right? You're free to go for the gold. And I think that was important to us as we wrote. We didn't shackle ourselves, right? We didn't like, oh man, we can only shoot a film in a couple rooms in a street or something. Like, no, it's like our imagination is wherever we want to take it, So that's how we kind of approached it.
I couldn't agree more. I do enjoy the whole process of just, sorry, I'm distracted by the Zoom thing and telling us, you guys don't mind hopping back on for...
Sure. No, not at all. Yeah. We'll join the same link, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is so fun. And that's one of the things that sort of harp on it. But, Channel 101, in like the height of lockdown, summer 2020, that's when they launched Frequency. It also helps like people who have like sound backgrounds, but like me, don't bother with video. But it really is like, well, you already said it. You already said it very well. You don't need a budget for the special effects. You just need creativity.
You need creativity and some time.
Great writers and people who can really imagine. That's actually better. My mom grew up in the 40s, and she's always talking about when we sit around and listen to the radio as opposed to TV, it's all given to us. And when you have a great creative mind and, and you can just go out to another, whatever, time and space or year or whatever, that mind would take you there. With good writing.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know what your experience is, but writing for audio, there are some unique limitations, right? Because like sometimes we would come into a place where like we were writing a bit and we're like, oh no, now I'm like, the reporter's like, now I'm walking over here. Oh, what did I see? Like it's like you're telegraphing a lot of what you're trying to get across visually. And I think we did a pretty good job of not like
when we touched upon that, it was almost more like parody. Like we had a couple sketches where we lean into the old timey, like signaling, telegraphing where you're going, what you're doing as you're doing it, right, which is like old timey. But we kind of touched on that for parody. But otherwise, like we did eventually learn after a few drafts to like write toward our medium a little harder, and I think it shows.
Yeah. I just feel like there's nothing that can't be done. It's just a matter of how.
Well, I don't know. Is there something that can't,
like certain jokes won't land.
There's like visual jokes that you can't do.
Yeah, at first, like we wrote up a couple visual gags, and it's like, oh, this doesn't work at all. What are we doing? So we have to kind of reimagine it, right? And you have to reimagine it for the audio space.
Right. And you mentioned what was another influence thing. You got 5 minutes on this thing, so I'm paying attention to your thing. Another influence that you mentioned was like Monty Python. Yeah. I think.
Well, their records,
or like their television show, right? Like their Flying Circus.
Circus.
Yeah. Like I think that's totally an influence because like they usually like have like in the show they would have like a frame narrative that like you would sort of attach their sketches towards, and they have really interesting transitions. And I think we do something. I mean, having like the conceit of a news show that can kind of go anywhere you want or whatever is similar, right? Like it's with like Holy Grail, for instance, like it's people going from point A to point B, and then they just sort of attach the jokes to that journey. And I think we have a sort of a similar construction, right? Yeah. Yeah,
and I was thinking the Monty Python angle tonally for me is like absurdism. I think we have sometimes, I don't know, like we oscillate between different humor types, I think. Sometimes we're like pretty dark, right? Like reporters die on air and awful things sort of happen. Like my character is kind of a, often immoral shill for the regime, for the current regime. But so there's certainly some dark humor. There's some satirical humor, but there's also like silly wordplay. There's certain just surreal, absurdist, almost like Dadaist sort of elements to it. And I think Monty Python kind of brings that to the fore. And I love that about Monty Python, just like the silliness of it, the absurdism of it.
And it's pretty smart stuff. Like Monty Python stuff is, I think, probably smarter than our stuff to a certain degree. But like,
we're pretty smart.
We're pretty smart.
Maybe
but
a tad bit.
We're not doing like philosopher jokes or anything. But like,
no, sometimes we get a little existential.
We get a little heady.
I think a lot.
I think
that's good.
I think everything balances together really well. You don't feel like, I don't know, like whatever you might worry about there being a Too Many Cooks vibe from moment to moment. It really just feels like a rounded experience, and it benefits from different styles of humor.
I think so. And like, if you're sick of the humor you're hearing in minute 17 of NPRmageddon, like wait till minute 19 and you'll probably
specific.
You'll probably get something else that you'll enjoy. And that's part of the, I don't know, that's just the power of sort of sketch-based programming too. Like, if you're not caring for this one, just wait around a few minutes. We'll give you something else.
Make the light bulbs come back on.
Yeah.
Next time on NPRmageddon, literacy is at an all-time low, and we're gonna keep it that way now that President Skullgore has outlawed reading. But not everyone's on the same page.
What if I don't read the books, huh? What if I use them to wipe my ass?
That's the good news. And here's even better news.
If escaping reality is your thing, nothing brightens your day quite like hard drugs.
A new drug called Drip, derived from smog cloud precipitation, has some people praying for rain.
I can't get enough of the stuff. It's a non-stop party.
And in our ongoing brand new history segment, we put you on the front lines of an ancient war. War. What is it good for? Absolutely everything.
History is a harsh mistress.
Indeed. Plus sports and traffic.
Off the chain, baby. Featuring the voice talents of John Delancey, Harlan Ellison, Jello Biafra, Erica Ishii, Andrew Bowser, Michael Ruzelay, Tazon Day, and many others.
All this and more in NPRmageddon Episode 2, Beta Orbiter.
Hey gang, I mentioned this band, the Foxies, on the show before. I fucking love them. They're more than welcome to be a guest on the show if they want some time. If the powers that be check their emails or a spam folder or whatever. I just sent the one email, so good luck, I guess, finding it. They're from Nashville. Their recent album is called Who Are You Now? Who Were You Then? And it's straight fire. This is one of the songs on that album, and it's called If Life Were a Movie.
I wrote you letters like you complete me. You don't complete me. And I flew the ocean. Thought you were everything, but you're not everything. If you're a bird, then I'm a loaded shotgun. So let me tell you once, don't make me tell you twice. If life were a movie, you'll be the guy that dies. If life were a movie, on your face. And if I miss this, I'll just hit replay. It's like we're a movie. You'll be the guy that dies. And I go on living, I will be satisfied. It's like we're a movie. Yeah, you'll be the guy that dies. And I go on living, I will be satisfied. No, you never love me, and that's why you never tried. Oh, well, it's like we're a movie. You'll be the guy that dies.
But we have a plethora of assholes. You know,
He's Australian.
Nice people are few and far between, but Canada isn't like you throw a rock and you hit a nice person who says sorry. But
he says, "Why the fuck did you throw a rock?"
The fuck, man, bro. Or, I don't know, whatever.
Are you friends with Nardwar the human serviette?
No, but I feel like he's gotten quite a mile out of shaving a haircut.
That's true.
Oh, is that his shtick?
Well, he goes doot doot a loot do, doot do.
That's what he does?
Yeah, at the end of every interview.
Wow.
Yeah. But I won't put that. I don't want to defame our beloved Nardwar, or Ed the Sock, or whatever else made it over there.
Sounds like a beautiful, like, oceanic creature, the Nardwar.
It does. I don't know where we get our ideas.
Boop boop. Oh, that could be.
That's why they would get.
I know they did a lot of takes.
I know he was very exacting. Yeah, they did a ton of takes.
I love Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh man, I'm a Kubrickophile for sure.
You know what? Like the Kubrick fans need a better name for themselves, like Juggalos or something.
Kubrickians?
Kubrickies. Kubies. Kubrick.
The old bricks and mortars. The Kubricks and mortars.
The Kubricks. Yeah, what would be the Kubrick? What's brick? Brick. I don't know. Juggalos is so good.
I remember.
There's only one juggalo.
I remember being in junior high school, and my dad took me to Clockwork Orange.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
like before it got banned and everything.
Yeah, and I was like, finally, when I got older, I got it. But I was like, the whole day I was like, okay, what's going on? But then it's weird how he knew he would just subliminally, whatever, give it to me. And then I would figure it out one day.
Who's the author of Clockwork Orange? What's his name?
It was Kubrick.
No. Kubrick's the director. The book is
Anthony Burgess.
Yeah, Anthony Burgess. Anthony Burgess has another book called 1985, which nobody really knows, and it is a sequel to George Orwell's 1984, kind of. And so the first half, Anthony Burgess.
Okay.
And so the first half of 1985 is just what Anthony Burgess thinks of 1984, and just like he really, really likes it. And then the second half of 1985 is his sort of bizarre take, because like Orwell he wrote 1984 and 1948. And so he just swapped the two numbers around and sort of just projected what he saw going on in England. Anthony Burgess did a kind of a similar thing, but there's a group of like young men in England in 1985 that are basically just like the Droogs. They're just like, they're really smart, violent thugs. And like, that's sort of a thing that he keeps turning up into his books. But like 1985 by Anthony Burgess is such a bizarre book, and nobody knows about it anymore.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about taking a look into the future, or a possible future, NPRmageddon, what's the ratio of just like fun, frivolous, comedic ideas that are just like abstract and silly to the percentage of stuff that you feel like really could happen, is already starting to happen, and so forth?
Oh, as far as like real world analogs to things that have happened in NPRmageddon, is that what you're asking?
Like the ear mics?
I couldn't have put it better myself. You heard me struggling to try.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, because the show has been like a few years in the making, like I think sometimes our fiction has become a sort of reality, which is interesting to see. And I think truth is often stranger than fiction, and maybe our fiction is sometimes stranger than the truth. Guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say a bunch of empty horseshit.
That's meaningless. What you said nobody understood what you said.
I don't know. A lot has been in the news of like authoritarian rule, right? Like the rise of authoritarian rule, and Skullgore certainly embodies that. But I think in certain ways you can kind of, chart a matrix of like authoritarian type of satire in NPRmageddon. I mean, kind of the media is a sort of authority that has a certain rule and power. You can look at certain aspects like that. Later on in the season, we'll see how religion could have a sort of authoritarian bent that we play with. Just to give a sneak peek here, but we do play with kind of the sources of power and how that kind of infiltrates society, affects society through these characters and through these scenarios that we're playing with. So authoritarianism is certainly a thing that we sort of attack, disassemble, and put back together in a darkly comic way.
Yeah, and it's kind of I think NPRmageddon is kind of about power, and it's sort of about perversion of power, and then just perversion straight up.
That never happens these days, right?
But
with our politicians.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good point, LeJon.
Fox News. Yeah, where'd you get the idea from?
But
I always think of like the beginning of Mark Maron's first post-Trump special.
I haven't heard it. What's it about? What's it like?
Well, I mean, he basically, like anything that you could have said might have happened that someone would have said, you're fucking nuts. Like that's what happened yesterday.
Exactly.
Sort of thing. I'm not paraphrasing very well, but like it starts with like after Trump got elected, the impossible just became everyday news.
Yes.
I
mean, that's old news, but I mean, like he put it very well for the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Though I will say at the same time that we made it a point to never directly ape like rip from the headlines type of stuff. Like, you'll never see a Trumpian figure in NPRmageddon. It's just like, oh, that's just a stand-in for Donald Trump, or that's just a stand-in for Kamala Harris or something. Like, we don't really riff on today's headlines or figures. We deal more with ideas and abstractions than like the latest politician who did that thing on Friday that everybody's talking about,
Yeah, I didn't mean to go there like with the last thing I said. I definitely pick up on that, and I love it. But in what you were saying before, do you feel like putting the show together in all like the lights and darks that it has, do you feel like it's cathartic for you, like just as people in the world that we do live in?
Oh, I think it is. I get a lot out of that. Like it's cathartic for me. Like I don't know. I think it might be a little shocking for an audience at sometimes.
What's one of my favorite lines?
I don't know. What is one of your favorite lines?
Only the weak need to eat.
That's not the line.
That's not quite.
I said only.
That's not quite the line.
That's not the line.
Okay. Okay. Food is for weak people.
That's almost. You're closer. You're closer.
Closer.
Oh, need. It's the need in there, huh?
No.
Well, say it for me.
I was going to say something really brilliant, but I just forgot.
Okay. Well, sorry. Todd's trying to wrangle us back. Oh, yes, Todd. Pay attention to Todd.
Okay.
People on the internet like to be correctors, so they can feel high and mighty. So they'll go like, I'm going to fucking listen to this. I'll tell you guys what the line is.
That would be very sweet if that would happen.
That would be a level of engagement that I would invite and enjoy.
That's a step up. That's below death threat, but still a good sign.
Right. A stalker is not as good as a stalker.
Like when we have our own wiki, like that's fan made, and we didn't make it ourselves, that would be another huge achievement. I would love to see that happen. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Wiki level success for sure.
Yeah, wiki level success. That's another type of success for sure.
Yeah, somebody like just needs to demonstrate. I mean, like you, Todd, I guess you have demonstrated that we have not worked in vain. There's at least somebody out there an hour from Toronto that cares about what we're doing.
That gets it.
And who laughs. So, if it's more laughs and cringes or like, what the hell is this? Then I guess we've done our jobs. And going back to like, is this cathartic? I think it certainly is, because we do need to learn to laugh at even some deep, dark shit within ourselves and about human nature, And I just think that's important. And man, I had some other great point, but please pick it up, Peter.
Well, I think...
Well, think about that. When you make someone laugh, as dark as it may be, you at least arouse their attention to, is there a problem? You laugh at it and then you go, wait a minute, but is that really funny? Or is
That's
that
deep,
scary?
LeJon. Very deep.
That's what Brian do.
Yeah.
No, I was
Did you
also
find it?
here. Okay, here is what it is.
All right, let's hear it.
The world that we depict in NPRmageddon of Los Angeles is, we hope, worse than the real world. Now, the joke that we've gotten so far is sort of like, well, the world's already in an apocalyptic hellscape, so we might as well listen to a post-apocalyptic hellscape. Like, we're already in the middle of complete hell, so this is totally appropriate and totally works. Now, I don't happen to think that way. I think the world that we depict is worse than our real world.
Yeah.
And I hope we can still have that sort of escapism in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think our actual real world could get so much more. As bad as it's ever been, it could get so much worse. So much worse.
Right.
I'm so fucking mad that I can't take it anymore.
Why so serious?
Oh, no. Here's what to laugh at that.
Well, I thought I was riffing, and it was all I did was quote The Dark Knight, and I'm sorry.
No, do you remember like the kids that like used to like just? Do you have a bunch of Adam Sandler quotes you can just pull out at a drop of a hat?
I could make that the style of this podcast for an episode.
Like what would that be?
If
Like
you
what was one of the things in one of those movies?
Hello.
That's pretty good.
I can't.
I just
even
watched
remember.
Billy Madison the other day. For
Oh,
shits.
funny. Or all the David Spade.
Well,
thing,
Tommy Boy. I
Tommy
watched
Boy.
Tommy Boy like 3,500 times.
Yeah, yeah.
As a kid.
Like
Yeah,
fat
yeah.
guy in a little coat. We could just quote movies to each other.
Wayne's World was another one where I memorized
remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Happy Gilmore is definitely a movie I can just play in my head.
Oh yeah. Get in the hole.
Are you too good for your hole?
Jeez. I will say that I do have more listeners that live in your neck of the woods than in my hometown here.
How does that make you feel, Todd?
Displaced.
Yeah, because you want to move
So
down
what- yeah,
here,
so
right?
where are
Like
you
this
moving?
is just some giant scheme to have a bunch of friends when you eventually move here. You'll have like,
Ain't
hey,
nothing wrong with that.
hey, I'm back. I'm in town now. Let's go get some food. Let's go to Jumbo's Clown Room. Let's check it out.
Scheme, evil master plan, whatever.
No,
way
I
you
think
wanna
it's a
put
great
it.
idea. I mean, I think also just telling people that's the plan.
We can go down to Skid Row, hang out.
LeJon told me that this would be a fun place.
Oh, you have fun.
LeJon could show you around. Let me tell you that. And we're hanging on to California with our fingernails with the fucking cost of living the way it is here, but we still like it enough to stay here.
Here's a song by a band called Okkervil River. It's a song that I only know because I got it free from Starbucks in 2011 when they used to have those free iTunes song cards each week or day. You'd get like a different daily free thing on a card for Apple. They were just hemorrhaging free shit back then. I got about 40 of those cards, and I really liked this song by Okkervil River, and it's called Rider.
Babies fall, all blood red like slave pigs. Silk soft little things fill a house hung from strings. And I fly out on my silver scissoring wings with the yellow sardines over cities of things bound in need. Like gas and half-assedly free, like the world in 1993. Over the ruins, like we're staggering apes, but we get what we take in a split open place where a man can get caned in a palace of panic and flame where nobody gets blamed by the tide
time on NPRmageddon. It's President Skullgore's birthday, and he wants all of Los Angeles to get in on the festivities, whether they want to or not.
I can't wait to see what presents you all will be legally obligated to get me.
There's something fishy going on at the Cowabunga Dude Surfing Invitational.
Kind of like a shark mixed with an eel and maybe a barracuda.
And we sit ringside at the innovative new low-income daycare known as Toddler Fight Club.
Normally, children cost a lot of money. Our toddlers will make money through the magic of gambling.
Plus kids' poetry and traffic.
Get with the now, Bryan.
Featuring the voice talents of John Delancey, Harlan Ellison, Jello Biafra, Kelsey Gunn, Gary Phillips, Donna Thorland, Tazon Day, and many others.
All this and more in NPRmageddon Episode 3, Sea Monster Mash!
NPRmageddon, the greatest podcast in the world!
So what is your favorite LeJon performance in Channel 101? Because this is like somewhat of a Channel 101 fan podcast sometimes. Is that correct?
So the Todd Donald Show is my hangout podcast that I co-host now with somebody that's more or less local. And Primetime Files is the Channel 101 podcast where it's...
So where do we fall in? We fall in on that podcast or this podcast?
I feel like it should be both. I feel like I should publish the episode on both things, but just change the intros.
Well, we only read the intro to the Todd Donald.
I felt so bad. I do not have the heart to ask you guys to do a different one, and there's no point to that. It's really, really fucking sweet that you guys did that.
Thank you,
Bryan. Bryan thought that was a terrible idea, and that was like sort of he said that seems kind of passive aggressive. Did you? No, so now tell me what you felt when you did it. When this happened to you.
When I uttered "Welcome to the Todd Donald."
Yeah, walk us through, because I said no. He's going to like this because it shows that we care about what he's doing. So who's right?
You're both right, because I was both thrilled and also in the moment going, "Oh no, that's my old intro."
I got it from I listened to your Kate. How do you say your last name?
Kate Freund.
Freund, interview.
Yeah.
I thought it was so good. I thought that was a great podcast. I listened to that.
Yeah.
But that was the intro. I think that was the intro on that one.
It was.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing that podcast in July 2021. And that's the same point that I launched the first episode of Primetime Files with Kelsey.
Okay.
Wade Abbott. Kelsey Abbott was episode 2. Wade Randolph was episode 1.
Oh, I love Wade.
But I started doing the Todd Donald Show for fun again here because my co-host and friend Katie could come over. And it was no longer that thing of like, I was living in the Arctic at the time. Please do not ask. And I was doing everything over Zoom. So whether it was talking to people back home or in Los Angeles, it was only over Zoom. So I'm like, okay, if I'm just going to do a Zoom podcast and I'm mainly engaging with the 101 community, I'm just going to do a podcast for that. So, long story over, to answer your question, between as LeJon Stewart, or LeJon, sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
No, he goes by both. He's fine.
Yeah, Disney made me LeJon Stewart, but anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Those sons of bitches.
Oh shit, you're credited as LeJon.
That's the Leprechaun one.
Yes. Oh yeah. He wanted to cut the gold out my belly.
But I like Mad LeJon, and I don't know what episode of Car Jumper it is, but like it was one of my favorites.
Oh wow!
And Car Jumper, for those of you who don't know, is one of the most epic. It's definitely the longest running Channel 101 show there ever was. But it was
I've seen episodes of Car Jumper.
I feel like I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good.
You're outstanding. Everything like you were in 101 shows for like 10 years, right? Is that like 09 to?
I think you were.
When was it bleeding out?
So yeah, because 2019 I was exactly.
Yeah.
You nailed it. In fact, yes.
It's not like Bryan and Peter are plus twos. You get the 101 pass because LeJon. Like I feel like it's dope that all three of you are on too, but the kind of the kind of content. No, I hate that word too. The kind of
product.
Entertainment.
Go with product.
Entertainment product.
Entertainment like widget.
What you're doing is not only so good, but it can really please the kind of audience of creators and digesters of
widgets.
Shit.
of media widgets.
Digest entertainment paste.
Yeah, right. So digest is a metaphor, right? Yeah. So so it has to be something that you would digest. So.
It's easy to digest.
So it's like
it's delicious.
Audio paste.
Audio paste. Yeah, it's like delicious audio paste that you can digest. That people that ingest things would like to do.
If you guys made 5-minute or less cuts of each thing and made that its own episode, you'd be dominating frequency for years.
I don't know if that's true. I did.
Oh, I would vote for it.
I did submit to Channel 101 once, and LeJon was in the episode, and it was a web series that Bryan would come and he'd come and hold a boom every once in a while. It was called Meter Maids. We ended up making more episodes anyway. We were just like, we'll just keep making them. Yeah. So
I would say that he should resubmit it, but he didn't.
Yeah. Meter Maids is hilarious. So
and you can't even see it though. I mean, you can't see it, so it's fine. But
right.
Is it because
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I do think that the 101 community, anyone listening to this, if it's Primetime Files, will greatly benefit as fans of things from our NPRmageddon. And I think I gave Spencer Crittenden a pass too, because he's the Harmontown Dungeon Master.
Sure. But that's way more closer. That's way more like the gravity there is much closer to Channel 101, right?
But
you're just handing out these passes sort of loosely, Todd.
Really? Do you not?
Come on.
And well deserved.
No, I mean, I think from what I know of Channel 101 shows and content, like there's that like balls out humor, right? There's kind of the punk rock approach, anything goes type of humor. And I think we bring some of that erratic chaos, to NPRmageddon. So I think there's some crossover there.
Absolutely.
If I may be so bold.
Yeah, if anybody who likes Channel 101, they should listen to our thing.
Yeah. It's a sure thing. They will get it. They will love it. They will buy it.
You can tune in at www.nprmageddon.com /listen.
Hello.
Smash that like button.
Do you love to laugh?
And so, wait, what's your other podcast called? The Frequency? What is it called?
So Primetime Files is the Channel 101 podcast, and the Todd Donald Show is.
You have a lot of podcasts. I went to todddonald.com and saw the array. You're a one-man network.
That's narrative podcasts. The talk podcast that we're doing right now, that's a whole nother thing. The transition to doing it for money has been very well met. So producing podcast. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about me now.
That's fine.
Listen, I'm a big fan of you three, and I love NPRmageddon. You gave out the website NPRmageddon.com. Let's spell it out for the people listening who might need that extra. It's NPRmageddon.com. You can follow at NPRmageddon on all the social medias, pretty much.
Yeah, Twitter is really where we're best. Like, I know you're not much of a Twitter guy, are you?
YouTube?
Sort of.
Yeah, we're better on. Our Twitter is we do the best. Our best social media work is on Twitter.
Sure, we're on Instagram.
We're on Instagram too, though. Yeah.
What are some of the things about NPRmageddon that we can sort of like tease?
What's kind of why should people care about NPRmageddon? Is that
who gives a shit? Why should people give a shit?
Well, a couple reasons. I think that we have two actors on it that have passed away, and so these might be their last performances that are available.
Oh, jeez.
And so
the names are
one is a science fiction author, Harlan Ellison, who wrote for Star Trek, a very prolific short story author. Legendary. And we got him as an actor. And the other one is Fred Willard, who's like in Best in Show, and
who was so fantastic.
He was really good.
He was in episode 1 doing quite a spicy sketch, and like he pulled it off with aplomb. I mean, Our session was so memorable. I mean, he did one take. He was just a one-take wonder. He was a pro. And we got him pretty old, but he was such a pro. I mean, he nailed it.
Yeah, and I guess coming up, like some people that you haven't heard that are interesting is we got Barbara Goodson, who's the voice of Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers. She's coming up, and she was really fun. Because like Rita Repulsa's voice from Power Rangers. It's like burned into your DNA. I mean, I think a lot of what appealing is our cast is really eclectic. It's a bizarre. We got Tay Zonday, who's famous from Chocolate Rain. Jello Biafra from the Dead Kennedys is one of our announcers.
He's the voice you hear at the top.
He's at the top of the show. Andrew Bowser, who just got back from Sundance. Yeah, he did
for his character Onyx.
Onyx,
a feature film of Onyx.
Are you familiar with Andrew Bowser's work at all? Onyx the Fortuitous?
Name only.
Oh yeah, he's pretty good. And we have Hart D. Fisher, who's a publisher of Outlaw Comics, and he's a wild guy, and he's coming up
pretty soon.
I think he's the
third or the fourth.
I think he's in the fourth episode. So I don't know. That's sort of appealing.
The cast is huge, and I'd say just
oh yeah, and John Delancey, who's like Q in Star Trek.
And he does our traffic reports, and he imbues it with a panache and an existential dread that I just cherish.
Yeah, our traffic. I really, really like the traffic reports. I think they're one of my favorite parts.
And I just say, like, overall, like, we bring the kitchen sink, to the show. It's like, if you like sci-fi, if you like horror, if you like satire, dark comedy, lighter stuff, I mean, we've kind of got it all for you. So that would be my pitch of the show. Like, we try to do a really good job and make you laugh, make you think a little bit, make you laugh. And I don't know, we just try to put on a show. I feel a little bit like Al Jolson or something. Like, we're just trying to put on a show.
Or Sammy Davis.
Yeah, there you go. That's a better one. We're Al Jolson without the blackface.
We're Al Jolson without the blackface.
That reminds me of my James Brown story. James Brown did a concert. It was on New Year's Eve, and the promoter didn't do his job. So when James Brown went on the stage, there were 2 people in the audience. And they were like, oh, well, Mr. Brown, I'm sorry, I guess we'll just have to cancel. He said, we ain't canceling nothing. And he danced his butt off and sang to the highest for those 2 people in the audience.
I love that story. That's cool.
Just put on a show.
That's what we're doing.
I think.
I hope we get more than 2 people, but we're putting on a show.
We want to do better than that James Brown concert.
Hey, he's James Brown. Come on.
If I could do anything with this podcast, and you know how much I love the show, I will become hundreds of other people that look different than me, of course.
I would prefer them they all be just clones of you because you're such a sweetie.
I meant figuratively, but why not? I sometimes get really tired, and I wish someone else took over.
There were 2 of you
for me. Yeah.
Do you think if there were 2 of you, if one of your clones jerked off one of your other clones, is that okay?
I don't know. Like, is
that incest?
Is it technically incest? Is what I was.
Is it a homosexual act, or is it just an act of onanism?
Oh wow!
And here's the real
question: who doesn't jack at home or jack off at home? Go ahead. By yourself. Go ahead.
The real question is: should we end on that awesome James Brown story or clone incest?
I like ending on the James Brown story.
Well, we do know Todd thinks it's incest, which we didn't know. Todd gave away the game again.
Great.
So, but we know that Todd. I mean, I assume that Todd is anti-incest, like most people. So we do know that that Todd would be totally safe to clone.
Yeah, he's got a terrific moral center. So
yeah,
I think we end on that note.
Yeah,
Todd Donald is a heck of a guy.
Would not jerk off his clone.
Okay,
because he's just not that kind of guy.
Because the clone ain't a brother, it ain't a daddy, it ain't no relative. It's yourself.
Well, yeah, no, but that means you would. If it was just yourself,
I would.
Oh, okay. Well, you would.
We're learning a lot about each other tonight.
So Todd Donald is a no. LeJon is yes. Where do you fall?
I'd have to get more information.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
And what about the earlier conversation about doing it in the butt? Remember?
That's for the next appearance.
Yeah.
On the Todd Donald Show.
Right.
Clone self-love means never having to say you're sorry.
Oh, very good. There you go.
No, that was bad.
No, that's good.
That was bad.
That's good. I'm proud of you, Todd.